Yo, what is going on, my fellow weebs? Kerno here, and welcome back to the channel. So today should be a bit of a fun video. I always talk a lot about how you guys should be offering feedback to go to the official Discord and check out the official forums, talk feedback on some changes. And I thought it might be fun if we read through some of that feedback today. But before we jump excuse me, if you guys are new here, hi, I'm Kerno, primarily cover PSO2 content. Would much appreciate to subscribe as we work our way towards that 10K mark, hopefully by the end of this year. Now, in the past couple of videos, I've noticed that it seems like my noise gate or noise suppression was a little bit aggressive, so it was cutting out some of my audio. Apologies, it might have been a bit difficult to listen to. I have since adjusted that, and it sounded okay when I tested it, but it's going to be a bit of growing pains while I sort out this whole audio situation. Either way, I appreciate you guys sticking through with me, and let me know if there's anything more that I can do on my end. Either way, let's go ahead and jump into this. So we are in a bit of a fun place. This is the official PSO2 and NGS Discord. And there's a section, if you've never been here, scroll, ignore my tons of folders for Discords. But if you're scrolling down, there's a section that not only says from the dev, but general feedback and feedback chat. So I think we're gonna jump into the general feedback section and just scroll through a couple of feedback that you guys have given and give my takes on them, what I think is a good thing, what I foresee might be an issue with some of the feedback, so on and so forth. I haven't looked at any of this. This is 110% completely unprecedented. I haven't actually checked into any of this at all. So there's a good chance that this may go horribly wrong and this video never sees the light of day. Or if you're seeing this up on the channel, this might have been some content. So let's go ahead and see what we have to jump into. Let's take a look at from the dev section. If there's anything interesting in here. So I've been here a little while. Looks like the last time was April. That's not good. My friends on the dev team, please be a bit more. I mean, to be fair, they've been a bit more forthcoming from the dev team when it comes to the headline. So the headline has been addressing a lot of these questions anyway. I feel like this has less of a need, and there are going to be more needs. How can I put this? There's going to be less of a need to post from the dev team here, and more information just in the headlines. So that's totally fine. And for some of you guys who are asking, hey, no one asked that question. What are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. Possibly add more looks. Is there plans to offer multi-weapon substitutes? Can you make augment categories easier to understand? Remember that one time where we were like, yeah, there's no way people ask this question. Augment categories are pretty easy. Yeah, there it is. There's not much incentive to play urgent quests because there's not a big difference between the rewards in urgent quests and standing quests. Do you have any plans to address this? I think I talked about it when they mentioned it during the headline. Development team is aware of this issue. We tend to set rewards for future urgent quests, then differentiating them from standing rewards, offer considering improving existing urgent quest rewards in a future update. Urgent quests are a bit of a weird spot because for a long time, urgent quests were a main portion of how you had your progression in the game. They had difference in awards that were very, very needed, very necessary, and very powerful. And this caused the player base to complain that you had to base your entire game around urgent quests. So I don't know if this is like we want more rewards from urgent quests, but we don't want them to be specific to urgent quests, or we want different rewards from urgent quests. We don't want them to be more powerful than our current rewards. Like, I don't know where the middle ground is here because I've seen both sides of it, as we've had both sides of it between both games. So we'll see how that goes. For the record, I think the play is different rewards in urgent quests that are more powerful than our current rewards. I could see that working out pretty well. The other side of things where the more powerful rewards from urgent quests make them become a requirement, basically. All right, so general feedback. Okay, we're gonna just jump all the way to the bottom and then scroll up a little bit until we can't scroll up or deal with this anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure you guys can see all of this stuff. So we're gonna do that. There we go. We are in Opera. I'm using a browser, Opera add-on. So you go ahead and just look through Discord. So, yeah, not sponsored yet. So let's start. This person asks topic. Now, okay, I'm probably gonna get some flack because I'm not like blanking out all these names. This is literally on the official Discord, guys. Public official Discord. I'm not like going out and getting stuff, okay? Don't give me crap for this. I'm sorry. All right. Ability to the topic, ability to mirror accessories, base wears, body paints, etc. Reasons: many fashion items are handed, so when you try to move them to use them on the other side of the body, if you can, it simply doesn't work right. It'd be great to expand on how these look, or how we can. Great to expand on how many looks we can make. I'm sorry, would greatly expand how many looks we can make. I don't know if this is just written weird or if streamer brain can't read. Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I agree. There's some situations where I have a bracelet that's on one hand, and if I mirror it up to the opposite hand, like opposite the right wrist or whatever, it doesn't really sit the same way correctly. It like seems like it's linked or it's anchored to that piece of geometry differently, and it's very, very strange. So no, 100% agree. I would like to see this updated. So topic: creative space themes but nameless city as background. Reason: city background. I mean, I feel like this is just going to be like, this is a foregone conclusion. This will happen. I'm not gonna say this is a waste of a topic, but bringing it up is kind of important. So yeah, we'll see that. People didn't like this one. A topic: please add more arcs base in the style of the location nameless city on. Okay, well, for those of you guys who haven't done the story, spoilers, just straight up in the question, but that's fine. It's been again, I gave a week for my disclaimer, and I actually mentioned it in a video as well, so not my fault. You guys should know by now. But anyway, please add more arcs based in the styles, essentially modernized version of PS2 classic lobby areas with similar functionalities. Reason: getting players / story content off alpha, more focused in space theme. Why I am basically all people want to get off alpha for good, and we want it for a long time. Nameless City is finally providing the opportunity for us. It's the perfect time to take the final step and give us a spaceship hub lobby we've been waiting for. So agree and disagree. So I see why this says disagreements. So I disagree. The reason for it is because, yes, I want to go into space, but it's not just because I want to get off alpha and go back into a space lobby. We spent all of our time in base PSO2 in a space lobby, and it was completely boring. It got extraordinarily boring. Granted, the concerts were awesome. The different lobbies we had in the shop area was awesome, but to go from one basic lobby, which alpha is just a gigantic lobby, to another basic lobby is not what I want to do. I want to go into space for sure, but I want difference in lobbies. That's what PSU did so well, is it forced us into different locations on different planets with different events and things like that. So like, while it wasn't necessarily the most impactful changes, like it provided variety overall, and that's what we loved. But that's basically my take on this. I can see what the down vote is for the situation. It's not that I think this person is wrong. I think they have this mindset, like they're basically tired of the alpha lobby, but I don't think the answer is just go to spaceship hub lobby. It's the same thing. It's just a different coat of paint. I want to see actual movement around. Like, again, that's what PSU did well. I'm not saying we should all go back to PSU, but that's one of the things that PSU did well, is that like different events would take place in different locations, and you would go to different lobbies, and you would you had some variety in your gameplay. You had a different background. Like, everyone had like their favorite lobbies, and you know, when you had that lobby, they had their overall, I was gonna say backdrops, but they had their overall like hangout spots and things like that. Like that was a cool feature for that game overall. All right, let's see. Next one up, topic: enable a placeholder character in the names of the player shop search, or enable searching with a partial name. Reason: this would allow players to easily search for items with varying names that are similar. For example, searching for individual EX augment combinations is very time consuming and inefficient. With the introduction of a placeholder character, however, it would be simple. For example, searching for EX stealth wall pound or EX stealth wall. Have I gotten to the point in my life where I don't remember what that actually originally was? Oh, what it is now, a hashtag or whatever? Yeah, basically, yes. EX stealth wall pound or EX stealth wall hashtag, whatever you want to call it, or just stealth wall, could return all items with EX stealth wall DHPRX all at once instead of having to search them individually. This would make the search process exponentially faster. Why? Currently, a player would need to enter 125 different combinations to search for every possible combination of DHPRX substats. This would make it much faster and much easier. 1,000 times yes. This person is 100% in the right. This is a fantastic piece of feedback. It sucks to search for these right now. And either yes, do this, or just let us just type in this exactly. Like let us be a little bit or leave out a little bit of information. Like that would be fantastic. This is the W, 100% W. All right. Ear adjustment based on emotion. Having ears be on the same as our character's emotion is cute. You can't disagree with this. Like, it is. I just don't think it's that important. But like, all right, fine, you can have it. Topic: inform players about the boss health on missions. Reason: earlier today on Ship 4, I'm solo queuing on Alien Shooters rank 2. Surprisingly, I stumble into a 6 out of 8 lobby. Now, unless I'm crazy for doing, but I've duoed this mission many times, you can 100% clear this mission with at least 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left, no doubt, 6 out of 8. Plus, I'm open to correction about this. Doesn't the boss health scale down according to how many players are in the lobby? So like a normal person, I requested an immediate start proposal. There was one person that denied the request 9 times. This caused the mission never happen after 30 minutes, avoiding because everyone left. Now, unless they were trolling, I understand how they would be afraid of the mission without a full lobby, because understand when you don't have max gear, your damage won't look like it's doing much against a level 89 malevolent with no weak spots. So with that being said, it would be convenient to have at least a note or something about the health, or I don't know, just feel like the game doesn't inform the players without certain important things unless the players don't read some stuff. So I could be wrong in general. Lol. Would be helpful to know. So this is one of those situations where you have to put some responsibility on the player overall. There's a couple of things. There's some assumptions that are being made in this case. First and foremost, it's in most situations, people are spamming over and over again 6 out of 8 until they go ahead and start. If you're spamming to start, more people aren't joining into your actual run. What tends to happen in a lot of situations is that you'll queue, let's say, and your group will be at 5 out of 8, and then someone will be like, all right, you know what, I just want to go. Let's just go ahead and go. And then you'll start the process to try to go. But someone in that group is like, I don't want to go. Now, while you guys are in between that process, someone else can be queuing and waiting at 1 out of 8 for there to be an open spot to jump in. And then when that process ends, it'll fill that person into 6 out of 8. It doesn't just overwrite what you're doing. It allows you to finish what you're doing, and it fills them into 6 out of 8. And what happens a lot of times is if you're spamming it over and over again, you're just getting yourself stuck. I understand people want to get in and get things done as quickly as they possibly can to get, like, you know, what they want to do correct. But you have to understand that also it's a multiplayer game. It's not just about what you want to do specifically. It's not specifically that players don't understand that things don't scale, because everything scales in the game. Well, most everything scales in the game. There's an asterisk to that, but most everything scales in the game. Now, this is one of those things I don't think actually gets explained or gets popped up in a message, but like the entire game works this way for the most part. So we've all talked about it. It's something that probably should be mentioned. So I can understand and agree that you should have like a pop-up for this, but I haven't personally seen the pop-up for this, but I also haven't personally looked for the pop-up for this. So I would recommend checking out the help menu, double checking and seeing if there is something there that talks about, like, you know, scaling to the number of arcs that are there at the given time, which I could foresee that being the case, but I don't know that is the case 100%. But it isn't really fair to assume that the reason players aren't choosing yes to queue with your 6 out of 8 is because they don't want to deal with a 6 out of 8 because they're concerned about boss HP, or they don't think they're going to be able to kill it or anything along those lines. In most cases, people just want to wait for 8 people, like they're doing other stuff anyway. And they're like, can you just stop? Can you just wait or just leave? Like, those are the two options that they're looking at. And if you do want to just go in with the number of people you have, create a group and just go in. It's the best thing you can do in those situations. It sucks, understandably so. I won't agree with this, because if it's not there, it should be helpful to inform the player itself, but also you can't just assume that this is the reason why players were declining their jump and start. A lot of times I do the same thing, and like, no offense to anyone else, but I know I could basically kill most of these bosses with anyone. It's just, I don't feel like dealing with a smaller party. I'd rather run with the full group and just get it done fairly simply while I'm working on other stuff at the same time. So just again, I agree. Definitely have something that, you know, explains this pop-up if it's not there. So I'm going to thumbs up it, but that's not the only reason why these situations happen. I wanted to make sure to address that. All right. Removal of featured items minimum price. Reason: majority of these times, these featured items aren't even hot or even on the hot category. They're just an abundance of 500k priced items that people scratch would benefit more by turning them into a recycle badge. Yes. And it's worth mentioning that this is a problem of our own creation. This is a monkey's paw situation where we complained that in a lot of cases in AC scratches, the players weren't really guaranteed an amount of money they were able to make off of some of the stuff that was there. And the dev team's answer to this was to make the featured item minimum price range, meaning that those items would never drop below 500, so you always had some value. Problem is that players are not buying these items, so effectively they almost have no value. So you have to look into a situation where you decide at the end of the day what type of market you want to have. Do you want to have a player driven market, or do you want to have a dev controlled market? You can have something very similar to that of like BDO or RuneScape, where you can only price things within certain ranges depending upon what people are purchasing. Or you can have a market similar to that of like Final Fantasy 14, where it's 100% based on what the players decide to post it for. What they decide is the actual cost of the item. So when you're dealing with items you purchase with money, it's an understandable want for the player to make sure that they get a certain amount of money out of it. Their money that they're putting into the game, especially a free-to-play game, should have some value. So yeah, I think this was probably the wrong way to do it, 100%. But it's kind of like that monkey's paw situation where I don't know what the right answer would be. I think overall the right answer would be probably closer to the BDO slash RuneScape market, because it's not forced up or down, it's player driven. But it also kind of like it's a little bit like, handheld by the devs, so they can kind of keep things within a certain range. But I mean, even in BDO, there are items that are a minimum price for their bracket and that never sell. So it's totally understandable why this would want to be removed. To be honest, if you have a featured item that just doesn't sell, do just badge it. Either badge it or move on with something else. Like, well, I understand you want to get your 500k for it. If it's dropping below, man, it's not worth your time. I think you can exchange those for something else too. I'd have to double check, but like, just stop leaving it on your shop, wasting your space, especially if you're free to play. Actually, if you're free to play, I guess technically taking it off of there isn't benefiting you because you don't have access to your shop all the time. So totally. I think we'll do maybe one or two more. So topic: add a device in CS to shrink player and make it tiny. Why? In CS we can build mini houses, but it's impossible to enter them. Creating a device to change my proportions, making my character very tiny, will make it possible to enter into these mini houses with this new perspective. I believe will make CS feel more bigger than it is normally almost giant. It is normally almost, I was saying the player is almost giant. Yeah, more options is always better. This is cool. Either that or give the ability for the player to create a door that when you walk into it, it shrinks you down. That would be pretty cool. Specific doors based on size is something that exists in Final Fantasy 14 that only Lothals can go into certain houses. They're kind of the short race. So like a door or a walkway that would shrink you down to that size for you to go inside of a small house would be kind of cool. But that's, yeah. Topic: please allow cast to color each limb separately. Reason: it would be cool if we have one arm one color set and the other arm different color set. Same for legs. Why? Improved customization is always good. Yeah, improved customization is always good. Agreed. There's nothing really that you can say about that. It's solid. I mean, I am very surprised. These are pretty level-headed takes. I expected it to be kind of crazy, but we'll see what we have here. We'll take care of a couple more. Topic: release Vera dolls. Let them loose in Nameless City. Reason: the Vera variant dolls don't get used outside of their now mostly discontinued urgent quests. For example, limited time quest Nameless City will be a perfect playground to allow Vera and Yakuza units to be seen normally outside of their locked content. I think it's a shame that the Pettis, Vera, and Co. is only seen in one environment in some limited quests. I think I'd be pretty excited to run into them in AM's Vera and just out in the wild. Any of them would be really nice to come across. So yes, but with an asterisk, like a very large asterisk, right? Also, I don't know why this is everyone is always talking about they want a scythe class, and they gave us one and it wasn't a scythe class, so we'll see. Anyway, again, monkey's paw moment. Not an NGS, back in base PSO2. Anyway, so this is, I say, okay with an asterisk. Tennis Vera was of the scale of like an urgent quest enemy. It was massive, like huge when we fought him. So it's weird to see him in other locations, but I could see it. Like I could see it working. But he'd be really weird to fit in Nameless. I feel like you would need a pretty big space for him based on the size that they made him. Things like Next and some of the other ones. I mean, like I get that. That's cool. But it is kind of a slippery slope you gotta be careful of. I said this about PSO2 since the very beginning. Bosses like Solus, all the Falls bosses and things like that, those deserve to be, because of their scale, they, in my opinion, deserve to be urgent quest bosses. Guys like Pettis, Nexvera, and like all those guys, the Yakuzas, the Veras, all that stuff. Like, in my opinion, those are just elite to boss enemies. And those are cool to be in like other locations, in like boss gauntlets maybe, right? Or major boss or major quest types that might be urgent quests. At the end of them, they have a boss, something along those lines. I feel like is kind of where those bosses reside. I agree with this. I just don't think Pettis fits in Nameless. Like I'm thinking about how big Pettis is. I don't think he fits in Nameless. It's just weird. I mean, yeah, but like don't put Pettis in Nameless. That's about it. And that takes us to the end of our video, guys. I think this is actually pretty cool. I might come back to this again and go over some more of these. Maybe we'll make a note of where I was at in this video and maybe go up further and read through some more of these. I was also considering checking out the forums to see what type of feedback gets offered there. And then maybe at some point reading the Reddit. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to send the Reddit boys after me. We'll have to see. Because I'm not going to pull punches, man. If I think something's dumb, I'm going to call it dumb. If I think something's not going to work, I'm going to say it's not going to work. It's that simple. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do all the cool YouTube stuff. Join us over on Discord. We're trying to build that community and just mold it into something with like-minded individuals to talk about more than just PSO2. We, of course, have Final Fantasy 14, so MMOs in general. And, of course, our good old gacha chat, where currently we're talking about some Wuthering Waves. So if you guys are into any of those things, feel free to join us, and we'll have a good time. Anyway, do all the cool YouTube things. It helps out a ton. Take care, my friends. Peace out.